Auto check-in and auto checkout enhancements. Now, when using the auto check-in or auto checkout functionality, when I run my auto check-ins, I specify my arrival date, prompted with a message to specify how many bookings the process is looking to actually check in. When I go to complete this, it will tell me the number of successes and the number of failures that have occurred, so I can then investigate why those bookings have not been able to be checked in. This works exactly the same for the checkout process.
EliteParks' new booking inventory build will increase the speed of your availability searches. To find this feature, navigate to your search bar and type in Booking Inventory Build. From here, you can create your own by selecting Build and then filling in the details here. Your start date, your end date, whether you would like it to run in session. You can add a part code and a grade code. Alternatively, you can leave these blank and it will do a search on the whole. Once you have filled in your details, select OK and then option Yes to run your booking inventory build. Once you have created your build, you can check availability as normal, just in the same that you would normally do. However, you will find that the return is much quicker. Once you have this build set up in your system, the availability will come from this. This is a dynamic build, and every time you confirm one of your bookings, it will update it automatically, ensuring that it has the most accurate availability for your parks.
Changes to manually tagging and untagging a booking. Underneath availability, we now have a dedicated button to allow you to untag and tag a booking. See, this changes our tag toggle here. Back to availability, I'm now able to tag this booking by option. This field is now driven by the booking management setup. Within booking management setup, you're able to specify whether or not you want the tagged Boolean field on the booking card to be manually edited. You'll see here we have a field now for disable manual untagging and tagging. This means if I take this toggle off now, and we head back to our booking card, and we'll reopen it here, now able to use the toggle field here to switch between whether or not this booking is tagged or not. Improvements to booking agent commission calculations. From within booking commission rates, you're able now to specify in this table whether or not you want the calculation on the amount excluding VAT as a tick field here. This means that when you process a booking via one of these booking agents, the commission value will be calculated on the price of the booking excluding VAT. Booking occupancy. Within the system, you can now generate booking occupancy entries using the Calculate Booking Occupancy task here. When you run this, you will be able to select the date range in which you want to run it for, as well as whether or not you want to filter on a specific entity type, be it plot or unit, a part code, or an entity number. There are additional filters available. When you run through calculating your booking occupancy, if you head to Booking Occupancy Entries, this will show you every unit and every day it's available, against which part code, grade code, occupancy type, and whether or not it's available, occupied, or offline. It will also show you the booking reason code. The booking reason code has been added to the booking card. To a booking card here, you can see that underneath the details section, there is now a field for booking reason code. The options within your booking reason code allow you to specify whether or not that reason code should be reported as offline for occupancy. This is especially handy for sublets and for where your customers are subletting their units and you need to apply a booking reason code to suggest they are currently offline and therefore not available. It's also helpful for maintenance bookings as well. What you can then do with your booking occupancy entries is look at booking occupancy analysis views. These analysis views must be manually run. However, you are able to set them up on a job queue to refresh. So if I drill into our default view here, you can see we have a code, a name, and then we can specify some parameters for our entries. The first is the date compression, so whether or not we want it by year, quarter, month, week. We then have a date filter, so we can filter for a specific period of time. And then we have our analysis levels, which allow us to filter and grade the information how we want to see it. So we have the options between park, grade, entity type, and entity number. And we also have some calculation options of whether or not we want to exclude, make available, or occupied the offline calculation. We also have the report option here to reverse this and show availability. You can update the entries here manually, and you can run this in your session or your background session. Look at the entries, you can drill in, and this will show you the analysis view for your report parameters. So as you can see, it's done my date compression by year as I specified. I've then got it by park, and then I've also got it by grade. I then have my number of days available across those, occupied, and days offline, and an occupancy calculation at the end. These entries here can be exported then into Excel and edited and worked on as required. To be able to set your booking occupancy entries up to refresh on a job queue, you will need to head to Booking Management Setup. Underneath the Reporting tab, you'll see there is now a field here for real-time occupancy calculation. You enter within here your start and your end date, and these will be the dates that are used when the report is run on that job queue. New deal field for finance end date. On your deal card now, when you navigate to the card, underneath the finance section, package section, you'll be able to see there is a new field for finance end date. This allows you to keep record on when the finance for this particular van is due to end, making it easier to manage when dealing with part exchanges, buybacks, or any part leavers that are happening. Process multiple owner deals. From within Deal Management Setup, you'll now see we have a Features tab, and within here you have Enabled Deal Contacts. This must be toggled to be able to access this feature, but please be aware you will also need the relevant permission as part of your user's permission sets to be able to completely use this feature. We head now to our deal card. From within deals, you'll now see this field here for number of contacts, and also a fact box pane here for contacts. I add my contact to this deal. When I add my contact, I'll now see the number of contacts here increase to 1. You'll see my contact appear here in the fact box pane. You can drill in through here to edit contacts and add in additional contacts. So from here, I can add new. I can go through the same process to add in an additional contact, or I can select a contact from the contact list in the system already. This contact here, and head back to my contacts screen. I can now see I have both my contacts added to the deal. If I come back to the deal, I can also see underneath the contact screen here both of my contacts showing. Now from within this view, I can also promote one of my contacts to set as the primary contact. So this will be the primary contact held against the header level of the deal. If I select this, I will get a prompt, and I click yes. If I now head back to my deal screen, you can now see that this is in the name of VAT code. Deal view, I can now see this list as VAT code. I head to an owner card. I can also see underneath related here the deal contacts, any contacts that were added through the deal process. Controlling deal document templates from the license agreement. If we navigate to license agreement types, you can see along each line now we've added in a new business doc template code and a private sale doc template code. This means that you have greater variation depending on the type of license that's issued for the type of deal documents that will appear. For example, you may have a specific deal document set for your residential licenses as opposed to your seasonal licenses. And from here, you can then set and specify which document template you need to apply. We've also added this for the private sale doc as well. As with residential and normal, potentially you may have a difference in the documents that need to be provided for each type of private sale. Again, in the same premise, you can assign the document codes, and whenever you run a deal or a private sale with this particular license agreement type, the system will use the document templates that you've assigned here. As an example, you can see here on this new deal, we have the license agreement type code of 10 years. If I now head to the Deal tab at the top and select Deal Documents, you can see we need to provide these particular documents. If I change our license agreement type code to residential, I head to the Deal tab here, go to Deal Documents. You'll see my documents have now changed and I now have to provide a residential agreement as opposed to a normal sales agreement. Improvements to the site fee and general rates periodic invoicing. If we navigate to the site fee card, You'll see we've added the additional field here for periodic invoicing code. This allows you, per site fee code, to add in a different periodic invoicing code, so that when run through the periodic activity, it will use the details behind this periodic invoicing code. Benefit is that if we drill through here to our periodic invoicing codes, is that we can assign different GLs. We can also assign an override for the VAT and the VAT product posting group. This allows you to be able to invoice everyone in one go, and they will use the right settings based on the site fee invoice they need to be charged. In addition, you'll also see that we have an invoice description, which we can add in, and that will overwrite the standard text code that would be applied to your normal site fee invoices. You'll see if we run our periodic invoicing for site fees, where we have one code set to residential, one code set to standard. We run our pre-bill report. We can see, as we scroll down this list, that whilst the invoices as standard are following the normal standard text code, the ones we've assigned against our residential line now have residential fees as their piece of text. Plot address from the plot card. Against the plot, we drill into our plots here. There is now an additional field that allows you to type in the address for that plot. This means that when we run deals for residential parks, you can specify that you want to use the address from the plot. To do so, what you would have is against your license agreement types, you can specify, based on the license, whether or not you wish to have the customer address from plot address. This means that the system will generate the address for that customer based on the plot address. Automatic number plate recognition. We've added in the system ANPR whitelisting. This means that via an API you can connect to your barriers and provide the information for vehicles that should be allowed through. If you search in the system for ANPR, and the ANPR setup, see we have the ability to enable this, and we also have a testbed for this setup. What this will allow you to do is against your bookings records, is to add in the vehicle registration. So for example, on this booking here, you can see we've added in a vehicle listed here, and this booking is arriving today, so therefore should appear on our whitelist. We can also add in employee vehicle details, employee and company vehicles. In here, you can list down all of the registration numbers you need to allow through the barriers, because you know they belong to staff. You can check this within the system as to what's being allowed if you search for ANPR whitelist. From within here, you can select the part code and see which vehicles are allowed in at which park. So for example, if I use AF here, where my booking is, you can see my booking has brought through here, as well as the reference and where the vehicle is actually from. Once this booking has run its course and it is then departed, this vehicle will no longer appear in this list because it does not fit the parameters. You'll see though, all of your internal vehicles will be listed here as well, and you can click on this tab at the top here to reference those employee and company vehicles. This modification allows you to connect via an API to your ANPR and allow you to log those and push the information to the barrier system and keep your ANPR constantly up to date. Access Control Framework. We've added the functionality to allow users to define what access a customer has across their park. This can be done against a membership, deal, booking, or event. Within the system, if we search for access control, we have a number of menus to navigate through. The first one here being access control points. From within access control points, we can list all of the areas of the park that we would like to have access to, for example, gym or the barriers. Now, these can be listed and broken down into whichever granular detail you require, i.e. by the door or by the area of the building or area of the park. And from within here, we can set type codes to group these together. We can also assign them to profiles. So against profiles, as we can see here for gym, we have a gym access profile. Profile itself lists a number of points that this particular profile would have access to if applied. For example, we can see here I've got access to the main building, door 1, door 2, and the swimming pool. You can assign these profiles against the areas in the system that require access controls being added. For example, with memberships, if I had to park membership items, you can see we have a column in here for access control template code. This allows you to assign the template against each type of membership, and it will allow you to define whether or not there are different profiles required for different types of membership. For example, an owner membership might have additional access. Within bookings, we can also set it against the booking grade. See within booking grades, we now have a column for access control template code. We can assign a default header level for bookings and for memberships under their respective management setups. You assign this. If we take a look at our bookings, we can see that for this booking here, underneath our related options at the top, take a look at access controls. Now as a booking, we can see we've added in gym access. We've got a start and end date here. This is because as a booking, this customer only has access or is only on site for this date range. You'll also see here there are additional ad hoc access entries. Against the booking, you are able to apply ad hoc access, and you can specify a start and end time for this. So for example, you could assign this against a particular extra. Within booking extras, we can also assign an access control template code. So for example, you may have a spa booking extra. If someone has paid for this, you may wish to grant them access to the spa area of the gym. You can then assign this against this particular extra, and then every time it's added to a booking, it will provide the additional access for that customer. Now, within our access controls, every time we create or add ad hoc access, there is a table view here for access control ad hoc access. Within here you can see any manual ad hoc entry that has been made for access. This allows us to then integrate EliteParks with access providers and pass information held against these records to those providers.
As part of this release, Microsoft have also released some new features for the standard finance system. The first of these features is a new VAT date field on documents and entries. Users can now report VAT statements and returns based on the new VAT date. This is instead of the posting date to meet requirements of certain countries. The purpose of this allows the user the flexibility to post purchase and sales documents as well as journals with the actual posting date, while setting the VAT date to match that of the invoice. This means that VAT is declared and claimed correctly. If we navigate to General Ledger Setup, we can now see that we have a default VAT button. This can be changed from posting date to document date, and then back again, depending on what you would require. If you navigate to VAT entries within EliteParks, you will now see that VAT date is also a field here. If we navigate to purchase invoices within EliteParks, you will see there is also a VAT date field here as well. The second feature is reverse payment reconciliation journal entries. If you use payment reconciliation journals to register and apply customer payments, you can now set up the journal to use specific number series, making it much easier to identify the entries posted in this way. The first thing to do is search for bank accounts within EliteParks. And as you can see in the Posting Fast tab, we now have Payment Reconciliation Number Series. This has already been preset to Payment Rec. The third feature is the use of multiple remit-to addresses for vendors. You are now able to have multiple remit-to addresses for each vendor, adding flexibility when paying invoices from Business Central. If you navigate to your vendors cards within EliteParks, and then click on Related in the ribbon above, and then Vendor, you will see remit addresses. Here is where you can add more than one address. Another new feature within this release is Search within Search. To use this function, simply navigate to the search bar and type in Search. You then simply type in what it is you are looking for and click Enter, and your results are shown below. These results have been categorized into contact, booking, sales invoices, etc. There is also the option to show all results. This opens up a filtered list of contacts, for example, that match your search criteria.
For our Elite Customer Care enhancements for this release, you will see a standard dashboard which will give you an overview of your customer care department. This overview includes Elite Customer Care cases which by created on, by category, giving you a list view, as well as by your source, booking grade for example, and created on and plot number. These are just some examples of the standard dashboards that will come with the Elite Customer Care solution. And the second enhancement is we've made some upgrades to the actual form itself, including the compensation section, and also the customer care service level section. All these can be driven with workflows and customized for your particular needs. And within this enhancement, you can now, from the ribbon at the top, create a maintenance job directly from the customer care record. By hitting the Create Maintenance Job button from the top, this will open up EliteParks and create a maintenance job, bringing through all of the relevant details onto the maintenance job itself. It will also reference back the customer care record, and within the 1-minute sync window, this will also bind this maintenance job back to the customer care record in EliteCRM. If we now check the customer care record, we can now see that this maintenance job is now binded to this customer care record. Thank you. For our October release, this also includes some elements that Microsoft have updated for the major release. This includes the user interface enhancements to records, the general availability of modern advanced find, and Microsoft Teams integration. So first of all, the user interface enhancements to records. This includes adding a light grey background and enhancing the sections to be a crisp white colour so they are more user friendly. A chevron will also be added to the related tab label to indicate a menu flyout, and this is this section here. So before, the chevron was not present, and you can now see this in the related area. And there has also been a chevron added to the header area in the top right hand corner, so you can see on the flyout for the header. The next section of this release is removing the existing advanced find, which is the filter icon that used to be on the ribbon at the top, and this is now changed to the modern advanced find feature within the system. So if we just go to the list view, there is a number of changes that have been made for this release. The first one is if you drop down the views in the top left hand corner, you will see two changes. Where you used to have personal views and system views, this has now been changed by indicating a small silhouette of a person, which will indicate this is a personal view, and then where this isn't present will be a system view. Where you used to go into advanced find on the ribbon at the top, to manage your views and save views and share views, you will now click on the manage and share views. This opens up a clean, almost like a factbook page on your right hand side, pop-up page where you can manage your views. You will be able to filter on your views, sort by your views as well, personal, system and A to Z. And if you wanted to amend any of these views, you just need to click on the Assist Edit on the right hand side, where you can view a number of different commands. So as this is a personal view, I can edit the information, I can share it, and I can hide it or set as my default, and of course assign, delete and deactivate. If it's a system view, you will be able to download the fetch XML, which will then enable you to import back in and create your own. As always, the system views are managed as an administrator within the system. So that's the first element to where you can manage your save views and the system views. Where you would normally search on the advanced find area for records within the system, you will now do this from the main Dataverse search bar on the ribbon at the top. You can search for records that filter and appear within the Dataverse search as normal, and then in addition to this, you can now go to the search for rows in the table using advanced filters, which will again open up a search box on the right hand side and allow you to search any tables that feature within this particular app, and this app being, in this example, the EliteCRM app. So if you're in a bookings app or a salesperson app, it will allow you to search for the tables within that particular app that your permissions allow. So by selecting a table, for example, select Continue. That then takes you to that particular area where you then will have the Edit Filters pop-up box on the right hand side, where you can then use your filters to search for the records as you did in the old way in the Advanced Find section. Advanced Find is currently still in the advanced area of the system, if you have permissions allowing to go to that, which is in the back end of the system. but this has all been replaced with the front end and a more modern experience for using Advanced Find. This experience will allow you to collaborate with your team much easier, be able to share views easily, and also manage the views that are shared with you. All the new capabilities will replace the legacy Advanced Find experience, so many of you will also realize that you no longer can use the legacy Advanced Find area. The final element is the Microsoft Teams integration. So we mentioned in our last release that you can have Teams meetings added to appointments now for our EliteCRM Diamond product, where it will send out a Teams invitation and allow you to join a Teams meeting also. That is now in general availability. And you will also notice that on any owner fields, such as the salesperson on the lead or the header or the owner of a record, will show their online or offline availability. It will show the standard red indicator or green indicator if the user is online or offline. And you will also, within the coming weeks, see a chat tray appear on the ribbon at the top, which will allow you to directly chat with any other members of the team that are online when you're directly within a record within the system. So this feature is within general availability and the share tray within the next couple of weeks, where you can collaborate with team members. Thank you. This is just a quick overview of our new solution, EliteApps, demonstrating a maintenance job from an owner, which will then feed into the relevant person within the Elite app. The important thing when creating a maintenance job is to make sure the assigned resource is the person you want it to go to. You can add in your comments as normal, and the comments will then show in the Elite app for the engineer. Now that it's assigned to admin, it's time to watch this in the Elite app. Now that we are in the Elite app, the first thing you'll notice is a push notification that will display directly on your phone. By clicking on the push notification, that will take you directly to that record within the Elite app, which you then can start to review and action. The first thing you can do is check the comments and review what's been left by the user within EliteParks. And then you can simply add your own comment by clicking on the three dots just above the comment line. Once the comment is added, you can then save and upload a picture. You can upload directly from your photo gallery, or like I'm showing here, take a picture directly within the app. Once the picture is uploaded, after a few seconds, hit save. And then you can return back to the maintenance job. By clicking the hamburger menu in the top left, that will give you the full list of the whole menu. And we can go back through to My Jobs within Maintenance, and then go to the next job to review. and complete from the button in the bottom left. That will then update directly back into EliteParks. We've also got other views of group jobs, high priority jobs, and unallocated jobs. Now looking at housekeeping and my activities, you can see the full housekeeping record. Clicking on tasks at the top allows you to go through all of the tasks and complete the task in the bottom left hand corner. And you can go through each task, and you can upload a picture if needed to the individual housekeeping activity line also. You also have the ability, for example on this one, where it hasn't passed its test, and you can add a picture, or you can create a maintenance job directly. And then finally, we can then have a look at meter readings. With your meter readings, this will display all of the readings that have been pushed up from the journal, and you will be able to work through them, add in your meter reading value, upload a picture if needed, save, and then submit the reading. Once submitting the reading, it will display the meter movement for you. Save and close, and that will remove the reading from your list, and you can then continue to work through the other readings.